Hello everyone, sorry it took me a little bit to post this next part of the video, but today we're gonna start with our perspective drawing. For that we need to get our perspective plan ready, so we're gonna start with our ground line, which is gonna be right here. So this line is gonna be our ground. Now that we have our ground, we need another line at the top, which is gonna be our horizon. So I'll do it right here, and I will name it as well as horizon. Next, I'm gonna split the paper in here so I can draw my views, which is what we learned before. So I'll just trace a line right here in the middle. So now that I have this, I'm gonna draw my front view right here on this side of the paper, and I will draw my bottom view right here. So let's start with the front view. So first I'm gonna draw a square. So I'm gonna start with a line on the side. Next, I'm gonna trace the 45-degree diagonals using the 45-degree triangle. Now, like this, I found the center of my square. So I can just go ahead and trace the crossing lines. Next, I'm gonna make a circle inside of my square. Now I'm gonna start drawing the same front view that we learned on the past videos. So I'm gonna just skip ahead and put this in a time lapse since we already know all the steps. So let's get the front view ready and we'll continue once that's done. So now that my front view is ready, I'm gonna get going with the next view, which is gonna be right here at the bottom, and that's going to be the bottom view, which we already know how to do, but this time it's gonna be a little bit different since we have things in a different setting. So pay close attention to this next step so we can draw the bottom view right here. So we're gonna start making a square again, the same size as my front view. I'm gonna trace the diagonals just like before so that we can find the center of our square. Same as before, we're gonna get our circle inside, the same size as our front view. Now this is where it gets a little different. So we're gonna start taking this point as reference, which is gonna give you the side limits. So I'm just gonna trace this down to the bottom, use the 45-degree triangle, and now we'll trace a line to the side. Now here's where our line intersects both diagonals. That way we can trace lines going down. And this is how we found the side limits. Now that we have the side limits, we need to find the top and bottom limit. And for this, we're gonna use this point as reference. And same thing, we're gonna trace a line down, then a 45-degree line. And then we trace a line horizontally like this. And again, this line intersects our diagonal twice, and we're gonna use it as reference points. Now, we need to find these two lines right here and repeat it down at the bottom view. And for that, we're gonna use the diagonals again and repeat it at the bottom. So I'm gonna trace a line to the side, and you can see it touches the diagonals right there. So let's use those intersections as reference. So I'm gonna start with the left one. And then here's the right one. Now we'll repeat the same steps as before using our 45-degree triangle. And then trace the lines to the side. So this is how we found our lines right here. And now we can just connect the dots. So I'm just gonna trace it real quick. Now that we have the limit of our view, we need two more points. So I'm gonna use this reference point, and using this point we can find our next two lines with our 45-degree diagonals. So you can see it intersects right here in these 2 points. Now we're just gonna trace vertical lines again. Now all we have to do is trace our lines to complete our bottom view. So now that our views are done, we can start drawing this into perspective. So we can take our front view or bottom view and then project it to our horizon using a vanishing point. So we'll do that in our next video. Thanks for watching.